The Extraordinary Life of Malik Ambar. Malik Ambar's life is a compelling tale of resilience, military genius, and political acumen. Born in 1548 in Harar, Ethiopia, Malik Ambar's early years were marked by hardship. Born as Chapu, a member of the Maya tribe, he was captured in a slave raid as a child and sold into slavery. He was later transported to Mecca, then Baghdad, before finally being bought by a slave trader in the city of Aden. While in Yemen, Ambar was acquired by Mir Qasim al-Baghdadi, who recognized the young boy's sharp intellect and potential. Mir Qasim gave him an education in the ways of Islam and introduced him to the rich cultural environment of the Muslim world. Over time, Ambar became fluent in several languages, including Arabic, Persian, and Turkish. As a slave in Yemen, Ambar caught the attention of influential figures. But his fate truly changed when he was sold again, this time to the Deccan Plateau in India. Ambar's rise to power in the Deccan. Ambar was eventually sold to the court of the Ahmadnagar Sultanate, where he found a new home. The sultans of Ahmadnagar, part of the Deccan Sultanates, were engaged in constant battles with the Mughal Empire. Through his strategic brilliance, Ambar quickly rose through the ranks, showcasing his military acumen and leadership skills. It was here that he gained his freedom, after which he took on the title Malik, meaning master or king. In 1595, he began working as a trusted military leader for the Nizam Shahi Sultanate of Ahmadnagar. By 1600, Malik Ambar had essentially become the regent, the power behind the throne. He had a reputation for creating a formidable army that utilized guerrilla tactics, which were groundbreaking at the time. He became an opponent to the Mughal Empire, whose ambitions in the Deccan were increasingly threatened by Ambar's military genius. His military genius and legacy of guerrilla warfare. Ambar's military innovations were revolutionary. He organized a large, loyal, and diverse army, including thousands of Abyssinian soldiers, many of whom were former slaves like himself. His use of guerrilla tactics allowed him to outmaneuver the much larger Mughal forces, and he consistently defeated Mughal generals in a series of dramatic battles. Perhaps his most famous military victory came in 1601 when his forces successfully retook the strategic city of Ahmadnagar, marking a major setback for the Mughals. Ambar's victories became a symbol of resistance in the Deccan, particularly against the Mughals under Emperor Jahangir. He is credited with pioneering the use of light artillery and cavalry in the Deccan, which would later be adopted by other regional rulers. His army's resilience made the Mughal conquest of the region much more difficult. Despite multiple defeats by the Mughals and a growing internal conflict in the Ahmadnagar Sultanate, Ambar managed to keep the Mughal Empire at bay for over 2 decades. He became a beacon of hope for the Deccan Sultanates, who rallied behind him in their struggle for independence. The woman who shaped his destiny, Bibi Karema. Malik Ambar's personal life was as dynamic as his military career. During his early years in the Ahmadnagar Sultanate, he married Bibi Karema, an influential woman who played a significant role in his rise to power. Bibi Karema was from a noble family, and her marriage to Ambar was not just a personal bond but also a strategic alliance that fortified Ambar's position in the Sultanate. She was intelligent, politically astute, and had a strong character, qualities that helped her navigate the challenges that Ambar faced throughout his reign. Their relationship was marked by mutual respect and trust, with Bibi Karema being a trusted advisor to Ambar. She supported him in his military endeavors and played a vital role in his political dealings. Some accounts suggest that she was instrumental in organizing the logistical side of Ambar's military campaigns, ensuring that his forces were well equipped for battle. Bibi Karema's influence was also felt in the court of Ahmadnagar, where she earned her own respect as a powerful and capable woman. She bore him 2 sons, Fateh Khan and Changiz Khan, both of whom would play significant roles in the political affairs of the Ahmadnagar Sultanate. His daughters, Shahir Banu and Azija Banu, were also married into influential families, strengthening Ambar's political alliances, defending the Ahmadnagar Sultanate and the Mughal threat. Despite the challenges he faced, including betrayals and defeats by the Mughal Empire, Ambar's legacy as a military strategist remained intact. He fought alongside the Marathas, including Shahaji Bhosale and his son Shivaji's later allies, although he didn't live to see the rise of the Maratha Empire under Shivaji. Ambar's defiance against the Mughals was unyielding. In 1616, after a particularly brutal defeat, Emperor Jahangir mocked Ambar by commissioning a painting that depicted the emperor shooting arrows at Ambar's severed head. But this image failed to break Ambar's spirit. Instead, It cemented his place in history as one of the most formidable and defiant leaders of his time. He managed to fend off the Mughals for more than 2 decades, making Ahmadnagar one of the last strongholds against Mughal expansion in the south. He was instrumental in the fortification of cities like Kudki, which would later become Aurangabad, a city that he founded, which would later serve as a key administrative center for the Mughal Empire under Aurangzeb. The final years and death of Malik Ambar. Malik Ambar's health declined in the early 1620s, and after his death in 1626, his son Fateh Khan succeeded him. However, Fateh Khan did not have the same military genius or political acumen as his father. By 1636, the Mughal Empire, under Emperor Shah Jahan, conquered Ahmadnagar, effectively bringing an end to the Sultanate and Malik Ambar's resistance. Though his dynasty fell, Malik Ambar's influence lived on. His legacy as one of the greatest military tacticians and defenders of the Deccan continues to be remembered in Indian history. He was buried in Kuldabad, a town near Aurangabad, alongside other notable figures of the time. Malik Ambar's enduring legacy. Malik Ambar's life story is an inspiration, a testament to the power of resilience and the capacity to rise above one's origins. From a slave to a kingmaker, he demonstrated that with intellect, strategy, and unwavering will, even the greatest empires can be challenged. His military innovations laid the groundwork for future resistance movements, and his vision helped shape the cultural and political landscape of the Deccan. In the end, Malik Ambar's life is a story of the fight for autonomy, the struggle against tyranny, and the indomitable will to defend one's land, even in the face of overwhelming odds. His legacy is not only one of resistance against imperialism but also of empowerment, as a former slave rose to be one of the most respected figures in the history of the Indian subcontinent. Conclusion: the legacy of Malik Ambar and the East African slave trade. Malik Ambar's life is a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of individuals who, despite being born into unimaginable circumstances, managed to rise to prominence and wield immense power. His story, beginning as a child captured in East Africa and sold into slavery, mirrors the fate of millions who were subjected to the brutality of the transcontinental slave trade. Throughout history, between 12 and 20 million slaves were taken from East Africa and sold across the Middle East and Asia, with a significant portion trafficked through the Indian Ocean. The expansion of this trade, particularly in the 19th century, was fueled by demand from burgeoning economies in the Arabian Peninsula, especially under rulers like Said bin Sultan of Oman. This growth coincided with the rise of Zanzibar as a central hub for the slave trade, which facilitated the export of slaves to work on plantations and in households across the region. Malik Ambar's journey from a slave to a leader of armies in the Deccan Plateau reflects the strength and resourcefulness of those who resisted the dehumanizing forces of the slave trade. His rise to power was not only a personal triumph, but also a symbolic challenge to the systems that enslaved millions of people from East Africa. His success offers a powerful narrative of resilience in the face of oppression, illustrating that even in a world defined by slavery, one could carve out a legacy of resistance, innovation, and leadership. Ambar's ability to command armies, build alliances, and resist imperial dominance exemplifies the remarkable potential that lay within the enslaved individuals of East Africa. His legacy serves as a reminder of the human capacity to overcome adversity and transform suffering into empowerment, challenging the historical narrative of subjugation with his extraordinary achievements. Through figures like Malik Ambar, we are reminded that the legacy of the East African slave trade is not one of complete defeat, but also of resistance, resilience, and the eventual breaking of chains. His story continues to inspire generations, highlighting the power of human determination in the face of unimaginable challenges.